how can you capture game footage quicker and more efficiently to not only save you time, but your sanity? Hi, my name is Derek Lieu, and this is Video Game Trailer Academy, a series of videos to help you make better game trailers. One of the hardest things about making game trailers is navigating debug menus to do the things like turn off UI, spawn items, enemies, teleport to different biomes, activate the free cam, change free cam settings, and everything you need to do to let you get take after take after take until it's just right. Well, there's a better way to do it using a Stream Deck, or similar item like the Loop Deck by Logitech or the Stream Controller X by Razer. By the way, this video is not sponsored. To walk me through how to do this is my friend Steve Lejeune from Evil Empire, who's worked on trailers and videos for Dead Cells and the recent The Rogue Prince of Persia. He uses a Stream Deck to make game capture a much more pleasant experience, and he graciously offered to share how he does it. What is it like capturing without a Stream Deck in terms of like workflow and speed? So what's that experience like?
Capturing is actually something very frustrating. When you play a game that is not finished, you have a lot of friction. And when you have to capture for a trailer, so when you have to make the perfect shot, it becomes very, very frustrating because you have a lot of friction every time. So usually when you start to capture, you launch the game, you deactivate the UI, you deactivate the music. It can be very long sometimes because you have to also equip maybe your character with a weapon or a skin that you need for the video. You have to choose the right biome. You have to be ready for the record. Sometimes when you full ready to record, there is a crash and you have to start over. So at this point, I had a lot of different things to do to record, because every game has their own process. Some games work with shortcuts, some games work with a console, some with a debug menu. And when it's very different, you have to be very flexible with your brain to always remember the right things to do when you start to record for a game.
The way I think about starting a new game is that you're always learning a new piece of software when you're starting a new game, new build. Everyone hides their debug menus in different places. It's the tilde, it's the F1 key, it's a bracket or something that's not very used often. And sometimes the menus are hard to read, and maybe you receive documentation that isn't really well written because it's just for the team members, and maybe it's even in another language and it has to be translated. I've had that one working with French teams, certainly, maybe German teams.
Exactly. Or you have to type the right command in the console to make sure you have everything you need. You have your notes, so sometimes it's written on a paper, sometimes it's in your computer, but you always need to check the right way to have what you need for the captures.
So what does it look like in practice when you're using your setup with your Stream Deck to capture?
Before sharing my screen, I will just show what the Stream Deck is. Basically used for streaming. But since it's some button, you can do whatever you want with it. And it's just small icons on the keyboard. So it's very easy because you can recognize what you need to do just with an eye contact with it.
And in this version, you're working from the actual project, or are you in a build?
I'm in a build. So depending on the project, sometimes I will work with the engine. But for the Rogue Prince of Persia, it was easier to work with the build. So here's my file for this game. The shortcut launch the game, for example, it's very basic. I have my parameter here. If I want to deactivate the UI, I just press on this one. If I want to deactivate the music, for example, like that. If I want to, for example, play in very slow motion, I have this touch for that. Sometimes it's very important for me to play like that because I need to be very, very precise with some movement. So when I need to record, to be ready for recording, I just press this touch and I'm ready. It just with one touch, I have deactivated the UI, the music, and my character is fully equipped with what I need to record. For example, I have this trinket here, which is equipped now. As you know, it's very important to kill enemy, so like that, because I can hit my enemy, but at the end I need to kill him now. When I charge my attack, if my enemy is still standing, we won't use that kind of shot in a trailer. So to be sure that my enemy is dead at the end of my attack, I asked to the dev team to develop a trinket for that. I can choose my weapon, for example. If I need the sword, I will take it here. I don't have to go to the debug menu and ask for that kind of weapon. Now it's here. Let's go back for this one. The game has many trinkets, and the same. I don't want to go to the debug menu to find the proper trinket. Now I have all the visual for that in it. If I ask for this one, it will come here. I just have to equip it. Imagine that I love this location, so there is nothing very particular with it, but just for the example. If I need to fight an enemy in it, so here's my enemy, and I can ask for an enemy to be here. Imagine that I need to make a scene very specific. I can press that. No, he won't move. I can press a lot of parameters if I don't want him to see me yet, because I need to put, I don't know, another enemy here to make sure. So, for example, up. Now he don't see me. So I want to create a scene, a very specific scene. I can put all my mob everywhere, and then at the last minute I can say, okay, now they can move and they can see me. Up, and they can see me. And then I have my perfect scene like I wanted. Here is the biome, for example. So I need to go back in the one of the biome. I just press the button of the biome, and it will send me in this biome very quickly. I don't have to go to the debug menu and ask for the good biome. I also have a lot of stuff with the free cam. I think it's very useful. If I need to, for example, activate the free cam, I just press a button. Okay. Now I need to make, for example, a traveling, and I want it fast. I can change the speed on it, So now it's very faster, and now I can make it slower. If I need, for example, if I love this new shot, okay, I will. Okay, this is the way I want it.
And so the benefit there is that you're zooming in the game rather than using Premiere, where you'll lose resolution if you do it.
Exactly. But now if I want to stay on this one, every possibility of the FreeCam is set up in it, so it's very easier for me to work with. There is a lot of possibility with it. I obviously have my record button. I have all my parameter everywhere. But this is a tool very useful for me because I work on the same game. So obviously I spent a lot of time doing this kind of stuff with the biome and the weapon. But I think that when you work on different projects, it's also very useful just to make sure you have all your basic stuff like the UI or the FreeCam very easily recognizable.
Can you then share your screen for the actual Stream Deck software and show us a little bit example of how they're set up?
You have different type of action with the Stream Deck, like text. I'm sorry, my Stream Deck is in French, but you have text. You have shortcuts or several shortcuts. You also have multi-action. Here, I use it for my market mode, for example. It just add different type of action. So for shortcuts, for example, let's take a shortcut here. It will just ask me to type the shortcuts. On Dead Cells, it was a command tab. So a command tab, you had to open the command tab and type the text of the command and then press enter to validate the command. But if you wrote / before the command, the system understands it as you open the command tab and type your command in it. So in the Stream Deck, you create a text. Here is the /. There is your command. And then you activate the button who says that at the end of the message, the enter button is pressed. So when you press the button on the Stream Deck, you don't even see the command tab opening and the writing, etc. It just executes the command. On the Rogue Prince of Persia, it is the same mechanic, actually. For example, here is the God mode. So I asked for a system of command in the build. So when you start with that sign, I think it is pound in English, correct me if I'm wrong, and you close it with it, it is recognized as a command and it executes it right away. There is a lot of commands that are made automatically. For example, if I need a weapon, if it starts with spawn item, you just have to type the correct name of the weapon in the debug menu, and it will spawn it. There is the command add item to equip it directly and not just spawn it.
So then, like, if you were playing the game without your Stream Deck, if you just hit pound, type that in, and hit pound again, they would do the same thing. It's just the Stream Deck is doing it for you in one button press.
Exactly. And obviously the dev team didn't have to create a command for each item. The spawn item or add item go directly pick in the debug menu what you typed. But I have sometimes to ask for command because they can't pre-shot my needs, and I'm always discovering situations where I will need something to help me record.
So is there anything that the developers need to do in order to make using the Stream Deck possible? Like, is it some extra thing, like a different way they implement the debug options, or is it something that fits well into what programmers usually do already?
Sometimes you can manage to do it with the console by yourself. But for example, for the Rogue Prince of Persia, there was only the debug menu that was clickable in the game. So I had to ask for it. And I asked to have some typable on the keyboard command, and when I had that, then it was very easy to make. I think it was very actually easy for them to put that system in place, I asked them, and in 1 day or 2 it was done. Sometimes you don't want to bother the dev team, but sometimes you have to say, okay, look, I need some tools, because if you want me to work better and to make better shots for your game, I need those tools. So usually they will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I always ask if the programmers are available to help me out in some way. And also, I don't know much about actually making games, so it never hurts to ask. And sometimes the thing that I think sounds complicated is actually very simple. And they're like, oh yeah, I just did that. Just totally added easing to the camera, or just added slider menus to adjust your camera controls, and it can be great. Thank you, Steve, so much for showing us your setup for capturing games using a Stream Deck. Though, of course, as we said, you can do this with other different devices. This just happens to be the ones that he's using. Let us know in the comments if you use something similar, or you have a similar setup, or if you end up using a Stream Deck or something else to help you with your capture. And we can share the love, share all the tips, because this is a weird sort of small part of the industry that everyone still encounters, but they don't know we exist. So it's always fun to share tips. Yeah, thank you so much, Steve.
Totally.